Golden Guys post Baltimore. Thank you all for everybody for being here. I will get to the chat real quick. First and foremost, I'm going to shout out my good brethrens right here. I'll skip the S for now because I still have a weekend. Knights of Old, Mike, how we doing?
Great. Today's we're sponsored by
Guinness. Nice.
Yep. Doing great.
Sorry I don't have my Comic Core shirt on because it's laundry day in the house, so and all those need to be washed. DS, how are you doing?
I'm great. Have had a lot of stuff going on since I got back from Baltimore, just organizing. I had all those on-site books. I'm doing an auction this Thursday, and then I've got a whole bunch of other raws I'm starting to deal with, and then I'm still staring at a couple of the books I got back that I absolutely love. So, yeah, but, I had an easy trip because I only live like an hour from Baltimore, so I just drove back and forth. So easier for me than a lot of other people that were flying. I know they got stuck and had to wait at airports and stuff. So everybody got safe. But man, that was a blast hanging out with everybody. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. Great con. You've seen the videos and the interviews with Howard Chaykin were great. Shopping was a little bit good. I kind of focused more on art this con. I did try to get a few big books, but unfortunately my big CGC came back with about 10 minutes to close. So. But that was my fault to go up there and get them late. But I was like, oh, I got to go get those. One other thing, real shout out to our brethren Paul. I apologize. He won't make it here. Thoughts and prayers to everybody to Paul. His little baby girl is going in, is in the hospital right now. Just pray for Paul and his family. Midwest Comics, we love you, man.
Yeah.
It gets better. Everybody keep him in our prayers. Hashtag go Paul. And also, if you don't know, the hashtag for Baltimore, according to the great legend, which I agree with, is hashtag Tasha Get Fiber. So anyway, want to show some stuff first? Actually, let me get to the chat because I see a lot of people, a lot of movement going on. So let me say hello to everybody here. First and foremost, Comic Man Andy. We know this guy. He was with us in Baltimore. Pulled himself a nice little GIRAL Grail. Has something to do with his first appearance of Frank Castle. The Punisher, but also the Jackal. So that was one of the things there. We talked about Mac Daddy Austin 109. How are you, Midwest Comic Man? There's Paul right there. Hoping he's all okay. He's sitting in the hospital right now. I already spoke to him, so he's doing okay. Chris Barrett, always liking having Chris Barrett in the chat. How we doing? We have a nice little haul to share with you guys here. TJ, the Slab Dragon Watson. So happy all day. Safe. Thank you very much, TJ. Yeah, it was a little bit of a long ride, if you know what I mean. Comics with Bueller. Always my pleasure having you on. Actually, I wanted to shout out to Comics with Bueller right now. He's been doing such a good job helping out the core and doing on his channel. And please keep in mind, his Monday show, Monday Mornings with Bueller, is still the best Monday morning show of anything, any media I ever watch. I don't even turn on the TV in the house. Right now, we put Bueller on the TV while the kids are getting ready. So everybody in the family wakes up with Bueller. DS Knights, of course. These two guys are here. Chris Barrett. Look at that. Tomb of 10 we're talking. We got a lot of books to show people today. Who we got here more? Hey, shout out if you're in the chat if you want. Aaron Smith, great having you here. Very nice. Sleepy Readers 666, very nice having you here. Okay, so this week at Baltimore. Oh, by the way, Inktober. I'll get that out of the way. Can I do that first so everybody's ready? Inktober, my Inktober for this week. This week I decided to share with everybody commissions on or artwork I had commissions done for various reasons. I'll show quickly, or stuff I bought that were prelims and stuff like that in artwork. This is one of my favorites. The first guy to do the storyboarding for the Thor movie. Before he realized Mjolnir was out, there's the storyboard art.
Oh, that's cool.
The concept. Name is Sajad Shah. And on the back is the Obi-Wan twins. Nice. One of my favorite ones of the Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's a phenomenal artist. Same artist who did Winter Soldier over there. I'll show that a little bit closer. Nice. This is one of my favorites because this was the woman's Inktober. It just was an Inktober from last year. Her Inktober. This is the one I requested. She's phenomenal. She does a lot of work. She's doing the Star Wars right now with Franco Francavilla, so I'll get into that as well. That's our matter. This is Charles Simpson. You guys have seen him before. This is Marko Djurkovic, my favorite Thor artwork I have, and if I could zoom in real carefully to get you guys an idea of how much detail there is. That's all just with a pencil.
How much did that run?
What?
How much does that cost?
Anthony Snyder and I made a deal for some of my sequential art. He sells better sequential art than he does this, and I had a bunch of sequential art from Sam De La Rosa out of Texas from a couple of what ifs. And I have a few of the what ifs. I mean, they were cheap way back in the day. I mean, you were paying maybe 40, 50 at the most for any what if original art. So
Wow.
that was always, yeah. I mean, this is a while ago. So I kept the one with what if number 38. What if what if Thor was an agent of Seth? And that I wanted to show everybody that one, but I kind of just sent it to the framer because I have not only do I have the original artwork for that, but I have you'll see it when I get it. Little thing over there, part of Inktober. That little Silver Surfer up there is a John Buscema original sketch. I have 2 of them, and I met a guy who actually a guy I've known since every cons. You might know him. He's always sometimes he has a mohawk, big dude. He's jacked, like really jacked, and he sells those posters that are like the size of your house, different colors and everything else. He has one. And I showed him the pictures of mine. He goes, "Damn, yours is a lot more ink than mine." And then I showed him my other one. He's like, "Oh, that one's pretty crappy." I own as many as I can, but they are signed pieces. Other Inktober here. This guy, just by the way, I'm shouting out him, just got the gig to do another Star Wars novel. So that was good right there. And of course, I'm never forgetting to get that piece. Original art I got in. Did you get any original art in?
I don't buy original art. Ever.
Yeah, that's why I always bust chops on it. I'm sorry, was it good?
I'm very shallow. I like color in my art.
Well, I'll show you some of mine. Well, actually, why don't you go show me your stuff because I have a uninvited guest. So
yeah, so I had most of the stuff that I came home from Baltimore with was on-site grading stuff. I'm not going to show. This is a Golden Age show, so I'm not going to show like all the superhero stuff, but I had a lot of them. You can go check out my channel for a preview video. I'm doing an auction this Thursday. All of those are going to be in the auction. There's some nice teas in there. But for Golden Age stuff, a couple nice ones I got back from my on-site package is this one is a pretty cool book, Witchcraft 2. Pretty beat. I predicted a 1.8 and it came back 1.8. There was some discussion on my Instagram between a couple professional graders as to what this was going to come back at, and some of the discussion was as low as a 1.0 or up to a 1.8. So I really wanted a 2.0, but I knew it was probably a 1.8, and that's what my position was. But we went back and forth. So I was happy to get this back and post it so everybody could see what it was. It's missing some pieces there, but it's fully attached and it's got good page quality. It's just a little rough, but a tough book to find, and I have virtually nothing in this. I got this for so cheap that I paid for it, but I mean, well under $100 is what I paid for this.
Unbelievable.
And then some grading fees. So I'm still in this for, like $100 total. So, but yes, it's a nice one. This is on eBay now, but it's a really cool book.
Yeah. You might want to send me a message on that one because I talked to Lewis today. So.
Okay, cool. I will. And then
he's watching right now. I know that because he always.
Yeah, well, that's on eBay now, but I will. Yeah, I'll hit you up and we'll work out something. Yeah. This one, really that though. This is Gangsters Can't Win #2 from 1948, and just a cool skull cover, and the skull is like a bank, and this guy is basically telling her that if he wasn't a gentleman, he would just strangle her or shoot her. But since he's a gentleman, he's just gonna, lay one into her. But cool gangster. There's less than 10 on the census, I think, and the highest one is like a 7.5. So this is super high grade of this book. And I've already got this sold, but you can't keep everything. But this is one that's almost a keeper for me, but I'm not.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think you'll ever see a 6.5 come into your house in raw condition again.
No, probably not. And I cleaned and pressed that one up, and it came out really nice. And I thought it was going to be a 6, and it came out 6.5. So yeah, that was nice. I made a deal I brought some books with me to sell, and one of them I sold to a dealer for cash and a book. So this is the book I got back along with cash, and this is Crime Does Not Pay 48. A book I've wanted for a while. It's pretty tough to find. It's not like a huge book or anything, but a solid mid-grade. It's 1946, and just a really cool crime book. Cool cover by Charles Bureau there. You know, it's just a really, really sweet book, and there's not a lot of these out there, and I've always wanted one. It's one of those books that you don't want to pay a lot for, but you want it, so it worked out perfectly that dealer had this.
What year was that?
1946.
Nice.
And that one's in an old case, and it looks like it definitely needs a clean and press. You know, I'm not like I don't care what the grade is, but my idea for reholders is instead of just sending it for the reholder and paying for the shipping and the reholder, might as well crack it, clean it, and press it, and just sub it under a tier. And for like an extra $10 or $20, I can get it regraded. You know what I mean? And get a new holder. So it seems.
Can you tell everybody who the publisher is for Gangsters?
Yeah, the publisher is DS Publishing.
Right.
You know, there's another DS Publishing book that I had and sold a little bit ago. Is Crime Exposed, or just called Exposed. Was it number 1? I can't remember, where the guy is strangling the girl at the edge of the water, and the Grim Reaper is looking on. I think it's Exposed.
Is her head on? It's the one where it's like a riverbank, and there's a tree right behind her.
Yeah,
bank of a river.
Yeah, but she's not underwater. They're like at the water.
Right. She's not underwater. She's above it.
Yeah, and the Grim Reaper is watching to take her away as soon as she passes. But that's also DS Publishing. This is the only one from my on-site that I'm keeping, and this is a Target. I don't even know, volume 9, number 12. It's an LB Cole book.
That's great.
And it's just really cool. Now it's got, you know, some creases, but I got a 3.0 cream to off-white. So yeah, just a really, really cool LB Cole cover, really tough book. And, you know, I try these days to keep things that are on the more rare side, or big books or rare books. I'm not trying to keep everything. So this is just one that I really have liked for a long time. And then the biggest pickup I made on Friday, which I don't think this would have lasted another day or two, is one of my all-time pre-code horror grails, and it's Weird Mysteries 5. And you know, what can you say about that? It's just fantastic horror.
Yeah, and it's super hard to find. You know, I to me that's harder to find than I think the census gives it credit. How many are you on the census? It's what's it?
Well, there's actually 51 of these on the census, so it's not that rare, but it tops out grade-wise. There's 180 on the census, and then there's like a 7.5 and a couple 7s. It goes down pretty quick. So, you know, anything a 5 and up, people don't really come off of them. And if you see them, you usually see like a 3.0 or a 2.5 or something, which would be fine with me. But this is the one I came across, and way high on my list, and I had the budget. You know, not cheap, obviously. So that's why this is really the only book that I just outright bought at the con. But totally worth it, man. This is just a killer book. And 5.0, man, that's like a monster grade on this too.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah, there's some books I have that I feel like the grades are like, you know, like they're too good for me almost. And this is almost at that level. Like I almost feel like I'm not good enough for this kind of grade on this book. But I'm not getting rid of it. I will make it work. But yeah, really, really awesome book here. Bernard Bailey's the cover artist.
What is going on with that? Is he putting the brain in or taking it out?
I think he's taking it out.
I mean, it's pretty dead.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead. This is almost like the after of the before and after from Mr. Mystery. Bernard Bailey did a couple Mr. Mystery covers, and then the Weird Mystery covers are almost like before and afters. Like he has a guy buried up to his head getting eaten by ants in the Weird Mysteries.
Yep.
Mr. Mystery. And then the Weird Mystery has a skull with an ant crawling out of it, like the ants have already eaten the head. There's one in Mr. Mystery where he has a similar looking guy being pushed down into almost the exact same vat of acid, and he's halfway down and just have his head showing with his eyes. And it's almost like this is the after he's been dunked in the acid and killed, and they're removing his brain. But whatever. I mean, this is just a retardedly sick cover.
1953.
Yeah, and this is just it's a monster PCH book. I absolutely love it. Even the back ad, stop smoking and dripping blood, with the little diagram here.
Nice.
Yeah, so even the back is kind of grotesque, but yeah, so that was my Baltimore. Usually when I go to cons, which is not many, I just try to score one big book. Smashing success for me.
And if everybody wants to check out his DS's Instagram, and if you want some books up there, hang on 1 second here. So you could do that. Check him out. Go check out his eBay page for sure. Check out if you're interested in any of those things, and enjoy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna plug my thing one more time. All of the superhero stuff I got back: Tomb of Dracula 10, Werewolf by Night 32, Avengers 8, like big books. I have all slabs. Thursday night 8 p.m. on my channel. I'm gonna auction them all off, and we'll get them out in the community because I don't need all those taking up space in here.
So I'm gonna show some of the original art I got. I apologize that I didn't put you on the big screen. I thought you were on. I wasn't even looking.
There was a question in the chat.
I didn't even realize.
Are there going to be mystery books in your auction? Are there going to be any mystery books?
I did a preview video and showed all the slabs that I have available. So really no mystery to it. What's in that video is what will be there on Thursday, minus I think 2 or 3 of those books, but not like the huge ones. But yeah, like the Tomb of Dracula 10, the Werewolf by Night 32, Avengers 8. I got a bunch of copper stuff. I got an Eternals 1, an X-Men 100, Thor 165. Like all that stuff is still going to be there. I've got a bunch of Secret Wars 8, stuff like that. Marvel Team at 141. So it's all going to be there Thursday. And Barrett's asking me how much. It's Thursday. See how much. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just going to wait Thursday and we'll see. I promise everything is going to start below GPA, some more than others, just based on what I have in the book.
Nice job, Knights, for helping out Bub on his crusade. He's not driving home. It's kind of like one of those things. If you don't know, we were doing a vaudeville act at. At least I had a few in me, and I did it.
Yeah, no mystery books, no weird mystery, no Mr. Mystery.
Mystery slowly I turned.
No,
I stepped.
No world of mystery.
No
journey into mystery.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. So I'm just going to show a little bit of art first because people all like art evolved. Whether you're fans of Golden Age or not, everybody likes art. I had this done by Bernie Wrightson's protege, Buzz. If anybody knows, especially my good friend TJ Watson knows a good Elvira cover when he sees one by Buzz. Buzz was there and we were talking for a while. Going to do an interview. I got the whole background on Detective 1000, the Bernie Wrightson homage, or the cover. I got the whole story on that. So he was Bernie Wrightson's protege. I needed something for my kids while I was there, so I got them. I took a Spider-Gwen, but right now I think my wife wants to throw those kids out the window. But here they are right here. This is what they're going to be for Halloween, so Buzz decided to get that. This is Buzz. He's a well-known, Dynamite's probably top there variant guy. He's well-known. He's got a lot of, he's extremely talented. And, Howard Chaykin brought me over to him, and he's like, get this guy. This guy he's just, because just a great time. I will show some. I got this, which DS thought was a sketch cover, was an actual variant.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
This is a Doctor Strange by the Frame Brothers. They're a pair of twins that I recommend people check out. We'll have them on an unlimited story. Oh, the backstory. You're going to get it from Buzz himself online. Buzz and I are going to do the story of that on probably either on the unlimited show. Yeah. I'll interview Buzz for sure. He sent me his email, and he's a good dude. And I just want him to tell the story, so it's out there in the open, so everybody hears it. It's really good. Doctor Strange here, done by the Frame Brothers. Really well known for doing quite a few books. They do a lot of cover swipes, but they're pretty successful pair of twins, identical twins. Great guys, great price. And I told them, give me a Barry Windsor Smith style. You know what I mean? That's what I love. I like my yellow sash, my yellow gloves. I would like to do that Doctor Strange one time. And Francavilla, of course, I always get one of these at every con. I choose an artist, and I get a Vader holding an Infinity Gauntlet. A couple of times, 1,000 times. If somebody says, how many of those are you going to get? When I have all of them, you'll know. But
That's
there it is.
my favorite one that you've shown so far. Is that
Yeah,
one?
this is a Francavilla, Francisco. Sorry, Francavilla. I'm not good with Italian names. I'm Irish Catholic. It's kind of like a tough thing. But I want to do is I am going to get this inked eventually because it looks like he doesn't have the stones in. I think I'm going to maybe put somebody with all the stones in it, you know?
That's not inked?
What?
That's not inked?
Oh, it's inked. It's just not colored. I'm sorry.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it's
It
Copic.
would be cool if you just got an artist to just do the Infinity
I
Stone.
only want the Infinity Gauntlet collar.
Yeah, just leave everything else black and white and just do
Everything else black and white, just the gauntlet.
Although, I mean,
That's what I did here. That's exactly what I did with this piece. I said have black and white and just the gauntlet color. Yeah. But it's easy because it's Vader. A couple of Golden Age books I got is some AOKs or acts of kindness from the community. I want to thank right off the bat Mr. Pocan Joe, Tommy a Wamby, Jungle Boy, which I do. Everybody's gonna have a time with this. Wamby is really good. It's not Bambi Wamby, it's Wamby, but we'll be a little okay with that.
I say Wamby, so that's good that you corrected that.
Well, I don't know. I've heard everything from both sides, but I found somebody who actually bought those books back in the day, and he's a fiction house, of course. The guy at the fiction house says that he always says it was always called Wamby by them, but it's before. They said it was too close to Bambi, and there was a little bit of a problem.
Well, that's why I say Wamby, I think.
Yep. But this is a beautiful cover drawn. I mean, great elephant for me right there with a little gorilla down there. Good stuff. And big shout out to Mr. Thomas Misexplained, gone too soon. Jack Davis, my beautiful Jack Davis, incredible science fiction EC book with a sci-fi elephant, which is great because the elephant's got wings as ears and all sorts of crazy, sci-fi action going on this. So let me just switch.
Does it have a CCA stamp on it, that's like one of the earliest CCA stamp books.
Yes, it is. It's actually. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I have to open them up. This year would be. I thought it was 55. Yeah, it's 19. It's July of 55, and it's just really cool and just I love it. I just absolutely. This was one of the ones I was looking for. I always said I compared this Jack Davis one to a nice Tales from the Crypt 32. Just that the elephant's on the same side. The other one, he's stamping a woman. So that's a more horror cover. I love it.
Yeah, I love
shiny, great cover, easy. And Jack Davis is one of the best there are, right?
He's good. And I like the rocket shooting up the side on all those EC sci-fi books.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
The rocket on the cover always shoot by the spine shooting up.
Yeah, that's a
that's a nice touch on those EC sci-fi books.
Yeah, incredible science fiction. And I do have a pre-code horror, I guess. Pre-code horror, The Chamber of Chills, 6.0. Dracula appearance or vampire appearance, I have to say, and you can see all the gold hanging out that he's there. And if you touch the gold, you remove the stake, and if you move the stake out of the vampire's heart, he comes alive. That's what's going on here. Of course, it's a Lee Elias, most notably known for doing all this stuff. I like this book. I think it's I got it for a great price. I mean, it sits there. It's just very, very happy.
It's got a good classic Universal monster feel to it. I like it.
Yeah, to me, this like between the lantern over here, it just the lighting of everything just reminds you as if it's like a Van Helsing scene. So one of my favorite right there. So that's some of the haul pickups and everything else. Sorry. I haven't. If you hear back from Stray Flexen, let me know.
Yeah, he said he has something came up and he can't make it anyway. So
okay, no problem. We're gonna have a guest. We're gonna have a few other guests coming up soon too. Probably other one. You want to hear what some of the crazy books we saw there?
Yeah.
Yeah, for you.
Well, wait a minute. I sent DS to find me a couple books and nothing.
Well, I found a couple Mr. Mysteries for
Marvel Mystery
comics that were really early, but they were too early, and you already had them.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there was a bunch in the teens, which were too late. But
Yep. I saw two
a
number.
copy of 4. But I mean,
Did you see the two number 3s?
what? Oh,
no,
Reese had one.
I didn't see it. A 3?
Not Reese. Ditko Comics.
Oh yeah.
He had one in the top back.
I didn't see it.
It was ridiculous. It was like it was a point, whatever.
Well, there's a lot of booths I probably missed because unlike Heroes Con, which is set up like a grocery store where there's aisles and there's signs hanging from the ceiling that say aisle 100, aisle 200, aisle 300. In Baltimore, it's just like they shook all these booths up in a pair of dice and rolled them out on the floor wherever they landed. That's it. And they sort of had numbering, but it's like Comic Core booth was 2113. You know, these booths that have Funko Pops covering up their signs, it's a little tiny number. You can't navigate. It wasn't easy to navigate for me.
I kind of think C2E2 always does a better job with the and Planet Comic Con. If you've ever been at that one, it's actually over the top. Half the aisle is just the number.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's good. You know where you are, but
there was probably comic booths some dealers I never even saw because it wasn't like all in one area either. They were spread all the way throughout to the back where the artists were, and really tough to navigate. And then I get turned around a lot, and I'm not good navigating like that anyway. So I couldn't. I was trying to get back to find that Weird Mysteries 5, and it took me an hour to find that guy. And lucky he was still at it, but
nice.
But yeah, Heroes Con is like literally like a grocery store. There's aisles, there's wide aisles, and it's just like a grid. It's like a grocery store, and there's signs hanging from the ceiling that say aisle 100 or aisle 1200. And if you're looking for a dealer and it says 1205, you go down to aisle 1200, and it's the beginning of the aisle. Not like that in Baltimore, man. It was like I couldn't figure it out.
Nice. I saw some really cool Batman. Early Batman books in higher grades, like that one where number 47, which is the I guess the origin of Batman. It's got the bat plane on it, the bat signal, the Batcopter.
Yeah, what is that? Batman 47?
47, correct, from 1948.
It's got him sitting at the desk as a kid, and then
exactly. So we're there, and we saw. I think the guy said it's the highest graded one on the census. So I was like, okay. And sure enough, he was wrong. But he's like, that's the highest one on the planet. I'm like,
there's quite a few copies of that out there.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice. It was in the 9s, but still very nice for a book from 1948. Don't get me wrong.
You know, I almost bought one of those last year. You know, there's some early Batmans I like, but I just haven't picked up any yet. But I probably will at some point get one or two. But I tried to buy a copy of that last year, and I had a price that I didn't want to go above, and it was like a 4.0. I didn't want to pay more than like $800, and that window's slammed shut now anyway. So yeah. But I mean, I bought a 4.0 for $800 last year was legit. I almost pulled the trigger on a couple, and now it's way up.
Okay. That Comics Cavalcade, the turkey one.
Yeah.
There was a 9.2. So I don't know if anybody collects Thanksgiving turkey books, but
there was, the guy I bought the Weird Mysteries 5 from had a Tech 31, and it was a 0.5 blue complete, but just with issues mainly on the front and back spine. It was like eaten away by water and time, but the cover was intact and it was presentable as you can be for a 0.5. It was complete blue label, and I don't know what he did with it, but you don't see Tech 31s hanging out at some random. And the guy had a small booth. He was just like a collector that brought some of his own books to sell, and he had a Tech 31 just hanging out there in a small booth way back in the middle of it somewhere. That was a cool book to look at.
Nice. Mr. Gene had some great pictures, by the way. It was great seeing Gene at Baltimore, by the way. Short box. That rack is easily was the high, watching him do that rack was great. But I saw a lot of great pictures from.
You saw some nice racks.
Yeah, well, probably there was good racks and some bad racks, to be honest with you. There was some headlights, and there was some looking like taillight headlights.
Well, I also think that Heroes Con had better racks too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the further south you go, the better the racks are, maybe.
Yeah. There was some great discussions we had with some few talking to some dealers. Did see a few really nice Venus pedigree, Venus 1. Was that Dave and Adams? Did you see that one, DS?
I did see that one, yeah. I like dealing with Dave and Adams. They're real good.
Yep.
Did they have a lot of books there?
Dave and Adams?
By the way, the CGC
they're
9.2 was there, the actual book. And that, I'm going to swear, okay? I'm warning you. That fucking book is no better than a 6. You call it a 9.2 white pages all you want. That thing is not a 9.2, and I think it's a disgrace that they put that on there. And I could screen share.
What
I
book?
would. Let me see if I can quickly screen share. The actual book is right here because we took up the CGC boards. The guy took a picture of it, and we've been complaining about it.
Yeah,
also a charity auction for one of the graders at
back, and they have all their slabs on one side and raw stuff on the other side, and they usually have 4 guys working, and they're pretty major at Heroes and Vault at least. And I buy stuff off them online a lot off their site. They list on eBay, but every con I go to, if I have slabs, I usually sell to them because they're really fair with prices, and they're really good to deal with. It's always a pleasant transaction, and I sold slabs to them this time too, and I was pleased with it. So I really like dealing with David Adams.
When they come to Seattle, they usually don't have very much. They have like I think it's them. I don't know if it's them actually, but someone puts like money in their case. Is it them?
I don't
know. Did you see is Sharon Ritter from your way or Texas? Where's she from? Worldwide Comics.
What is her? What's the dealer name?
Worldwide.
I don't know where they're located.
I mean, I deal with her all the time, and I always get mail from Maine. And next thing you know, she's like, "Well, Steve's in Texas." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I don't know, but they have legit stuff all the time.
Yeah, she's great. She is the pedigree. She's the woman I split the Western Penn Thors with. So, and she let me pick through a bunch of them. As long as I wasn't taking any mega keys, I just said, "This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want." And she's great. There was some a lot of good stuff with that. I'm trying to think of some more Golden Age stuff. Discussing Golden Age, Atomic Age books, again with Mr. Don Rosa, was great. We've got another Wrightson sighting.
Well, I was just showing that Bub. There's a couple people are talking about House of Secrets 103, so I just flashed.
There's Bub. Yeah, House of the fingertip one.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is. There's Bernie. Howard Chaikin said Bernie Wrightson was decades and light years ahead of every human being. So, okay. What else we got going on? DS, what else?
Did you see Tim Vigil there?
I didn't, because I don't go past the comic booths. I'll tell you the way I do cons. I walk around until I hit where the artist section is, and then I turn around and go back. And I don't get signatures. I don't go to the artist alley. I don't do any of that. I'm just there for books only. And so I couldn't tell you who was there. But I mean, Whale Comics got a really good sketch from Adam Hughes. So I guess Adam Hughes was there.
Yeah, Hughes was across from us.
Yeah, and then other people got signatures of stuff. So I know there was a lot of people there like that were big names, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, you saw the interview. If you watched on the Golden Comic Core channel, you saw the Howard Chaikin interview. Me with Howard Chaikin. We interviewed Jeff Lemire. Go to this channel. Check out some of the interviews. Watch them all if you want. Pick and choose ones you want. A couple of them I'm going to highlight real off the bat. Jeff Lemire, Mark Waid, Marv Wolfman, Ryland Grant, Howard Chaikin. Just showing books right there. John's Comics with Kids. White Whale. You see the interactions when we're far away and like this, and when you see us all together, it's like we're in everybody's room because we're just literally just look at each other. You know, it's kind of weird doing a show with DS, and I'm not looking at him. Instead, we're right next to each other, and it was kind of like we were doing a show. You know, like a normal show. And
that's cool. That's like where everybody went to sort of like hang out, and whenever you just wanted a breather or wanted to hang out, and you just want to take a break, head over to the Comic Core booth, and there's guaranteed to be like 5 to 7 of us hanging out there. So that was really, really cool. I didn't think much
show up either. You know,
you got your bag there.
yeah, we had real comic books out there. We had TiVo. We had the not TiVo. We had the Lords of the Long Box. Sorry, TiVo was on the brain because I was looking for him. Lords of the Long Box were there. We had a Simple Man. We had Pop Comics was there. And we got nice shout outs from a lot of people. Good time. But back up.
Did you get to interview Steranko?
No. Howard Chaykin was my interview, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
That was good. Chaykin, because he flat out starts when he goes, I worked for Gil Kane when I was 13. I mean, he starts when he met Gil Kane when he was 13, and he told everybody what was going on. So, all right. So,
his best book, like his, if you like his, I don't know, most expensive book or
Star
whatever.
Wars 1.
Oh yeah, that's right.
American Flag is great. His new book, Hey Kids Comics, is good. One of his earlier works that I'm a big fan of, I don't know if others are. It's a book, it's an adult book called Cody Starbuck. And it's actually the influence. A lot of that had to do with the Han Solo. Kind of people think that because George Lucas personally went out to him to get him to draw Star Wars. And he didn't have the script. I mean, he got the script and he had to do the he had the script and he had to do had the Ralph McQuarrie drawings to go by. And that was it. So everybody's like, the artwork sucks. He admits it. I mean, he says, I didn't know what I was doing. I was young in the business or whatever. And he wasn't really that young, but it was just work. He's unhappy with it. He's embarrassed by it. Well, embarrassed. He's not embarrassed by anything, but he just didn't like it. I would say that some of the other stuff, Cody Starbuck, he did a lot of, he's been in a ton of stuff, Sword of Sorceries, there's some good stuff there. But we talked about all your favorites, Eisner. He doesn't, Lou Fine. We were talking offline. If you watch the interview, we mentioned a lot of it. Some, like Jack Davis, he mentions. And I said, well, not everybody's going to know who Jack Davis is, but he was a big-time EC. And he's like, if people don't know who Jack Davis is, that shows me how bad the generation after us is. I'm like, well, no, not really. It's been 50 years since he's done anything.
Yeah.
So that's what there is. So
people don't even read comic books anymore. So I don't know. What do you expect?
I'm sorry?
When I go to a con, usually there's people asking people what comics they read or whatever, and most people are like, I don't read.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how he expects people to even know who Jack Davis is.
He's got a new book out now that is pretty much a pseudo look at comic books history through the eyes of various artists of various ages, called Hey Kids Comics.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's on chapter. It's a long process. It's kind of like Doomsday Clock for DC, but it was good. Yeah, he did the Suicide. Yeah, I think his best work.
Usually, the way I read them is I don't read anything modern, really. I just buy trades or anthologies or collected versions. Usually when I'm out of town, I'm at a comic shop, and I don't see any comic books I want to buy, I'll just buy a trade of something, and I'll read that. And I've got a bunch of those. That's how I read comic books. But the actual comic books for me are collectible pieces of art that I don't see them as reading material. But I don't have a pull list or anything, so I'm not like a comic book reader, but I read all the comic books. I buy trades of stuff, and I'll buy superhero trades a lot. I'll buy Golden Age trades a lot. The trades I buy are all over the place. I'll buy something from the 80s, and then I'll buy something, Silver Age, and then I'll buy Golden Age, and I'll buy trades and read comics that way. But the actual comic books, I don't really read those.
Shout out to Bonafide Comics. Thanks for stopping by. Next time, buddy. Next con. I think the C2E2 is probably going to be the next big one. I think next big group. So I just want to shout that out. Good having Bonafide here. Great time. I mean, as far as I'm trying to think of some of the artwork. I did see a lot of artwork that between Anthony and the other guy who was there. The other guy's always got better stuff. a lot of original work from the Golden Age, a lot of stuff, not really from Fiction House. A lot of it was a lot of the wartime stuff. A lot of war original art, sequential pages, which aren't really attributed to anybody. So to me, I didn't go through it because I don't know who the I can't tell who did it, and neither could any. You know, he was saying, "Oh, it's this guy," and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure that's accurate. So,
well, you know, there was Anthony's comic book art had a Kirby piece. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody bought a Kirby original like mural painting. It's not like an OA piece, but it's an original Kirby like painting or something.
It's a commission you would have done.
And it's really killer. And it's, see if I can find a picture of it, but I don't remember who got it. It was somebody on IG, but I can't remember who. But it was a really nice like big Kirby piece, drawn and colored by him.
Mm-hmm.
I got that off. I think that came from Anthony's, and that was a big score. I don't know how much he paid for it, but it was a major piece.
Yeah, Anthony Snyder, he's great to deal with. I mean, he's not going to back down from like if he's got a book or something for like $400, you're not going to get it for 300.
No,
you might get 350, but you're better off. I mean, 400. He doesn't really come down much on his art or his books. I mean, he does have books. He has a ton of books.
So. Yeah, he doesn't come down too much on his prices, but he's got a ton of art if you're into that. But he also lists a ton of stuff on eBay, which I've bought, but I've stopped doing that because and anybody else who's selling on eBay or however, he uses a dust filter on his camera, and the dust filter doesn't just take away dust; it takes away color breaking creases and scratches and stuff like that. So I bought books. The last time I bought a book from him, it looked so different in person than in the photos. It had color breaking creases on the top that didn't show up in the photo because of the dust filter on the camera he uses. So just something to be aware of if you're buying online. A lot of these high-end photos that you see of some of these books have dust filters on them, and then you can't, it takes away the defects of the book sometimes. It's a little misleading. I don't think it's intentional, obviously, but yeah, I just throwing that out there because the last time that happened to me was a book I bought from him, and it was not what was in the picture. It was, 1.5 points lower because of defects that weren't seen in the picture.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought an incomplete off of him once without knowing it was incomplete, but then he made it up.
I have quite a few Fiction House books that probably I wouldn't have paid that for if I actually had a better look at them. But I didn't buy those in person. That's when I bought them online on eBay. But that was kind of like more like a quick little eBay thing. I have a couple of books out there right now. I'm just waiting. So what else do I want to say? Shout out to JP Budget Collecting in here. Great job. Melvin, always check out his Not So Hot Top 10, as I like to call it.
I love that video.
Yeah, the Look Back is probably one of the best shows there is. One of my favorites there. Heard that about Asheville. Well, okay. There was a lot of one of the cool pieces was original Carl Barks pieces by because Kim Wheaton or Kim Weston was there, who is the restorer of a lot of the comics that were in the the serials, we call those, like your comic strips from the Golden Age, and he has been able to restore or kind of keep the original artwork in its intactness, and he writes several books restoring Carl Barks and everything else like that. He's just brilliant, and he was right by the guys who do Stabbity Bunny, so I thought it was kind of ironic. Yeah, Donald Duck on one side and Stabbity Bunny on the left. I remember they had a cup of coffee in the industry. So, what else was going on? DS. We're by the way, we're not going to do our what'd you get on your pull list in 1941, but I did describe that to a lot of the dealers what we're doing, and they love it. They think it's hysterical because we joked and like a Tech 31, right? It was saying, well, I'd rather have the variant edition, which is
yeah.
it's just blue on the cowl. I mean, it's not really. We just call it a variant edition, It's different. I think they're actually from what I've heard, do you guys know the difference between the two, other than the color, about why they were done that way?
Mm-mm.
I've always heard two different locations, two different printing, and they used to ship them in the middle of the country, like ship to, well, whether it was East Coast or West Coast or middle of the country, and there, two different printing places did two different things, and they had two different kinds of whatever the color was. Again, I've been looking around for confirmation on that from anybody, but Bob Kane's long since passed.
Yeah, here's another Golden Age book.
He'd probably say it was Bill Finger's fault anyway. Or no, he wouldn't even do that.
Variant inside the indicia has a different. There's two different dates on this book, and it's a black cover, and it's killer, and it's not mine. But let's take a look at it anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Did you get that?
this has got, I think only recently people started to realize that it had two different dates on this and number 2. And so, yeah, I don't know if it's a variant or it's just some people want to get both. I don't know. I'd rather just have one, but this one's not mine. But figured I can't go by without showing this.
No. Somebody put that on your Instagram. First thing I did was my our president of finance, whatever you call him, came over to me and says, "Is he selling that?" I said, "I don't know if it's his."
It is for sale, but the price, it's a consignment. And
oh, it's not yours?
No, the price that my client wants is, it's not a book that you give away, and what he wants on it is just too much right now. So we'll work on it, but I didn't have a success selling it in Baltimore. So I think what we're going to do is slab it and then revisit selling it after that. But yeah, I mean,
what's great about it? What grade were you giving it? A 3.5?
This is it's a 1.0 probably. It's got some.
Oh, well, that's right. I didn't see the part that you took a bite out of. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, on the spine, it's got some staples. You can see it's pretty rough. It's reattached with 3 additional staples that are pretty old and some tape.
So you think it's qualified?
No, I think it's going to be. I think it's a straight up blue 1.0, and
a lot of words underneath.
It'll have notes of tape and extra staples added, but I don't think there's anything qualifying about it, conserved or restored. It's legit, complete, and really it presents pretty well for. It
actually does for the grade he can. If he can, yeah, I think that's a.
I mean, this is the biggest issue, obviously.
Well, no food at the con. That's what happens,
Can you show that next to your black LB Cole?
Oh yeah, the one that's sort of like a poor man's version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I think I even posted on Instagram the two next to each other. Yeah, if you want to make the screen big, I'll show them. Might be easier.
Yeah, trying to do right here. DS going on the show.
Yeah. There's your thumbnail for this video.
Yeah, so this one's mine,
which awesome.
Very much, and this is a monster book. This is probably, I mean, it's obviously the biggest LB Cole book and one of the biggest Golden Age, like non-superhero books.
Yeah,
but you can see the similarity LB Cole had between the two.
Hey, Count Strange, we ran into a lot of your comic book fiend club friends out there, and president guy Terry or Rich, I don't know, I forget which one. We were going to talk to him. But there was a lot of the guys that was great in introducing everybody. So good having you in the chat, Mr. Strange. Count Von Strange, one of my favorites right there. Oh, Count Von Strange, you missed it. I'll show it one more time.
Which one came first, DS?
The Mask came first. This is 1945.
Wow, and
early. Target is 1949, so 4 years later.
45?
Now the Target. I had a question.
45.
Something came up at the con about the Target. A guy compared the Target to the Mask one like you do. Another one compared it to another book, which is a Catman cover, which is it's the same kind of picture, except he's back. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
You're talking about Catman 28, probably.
That's what he was talking about. We were talking about that because I did see that Target there.
The Catman 28 is really not that close to these, but I'll show a picture of it.
Popular.
Here's a picture of the Catman 28. Not from that site, apparently.
I got a picture of it.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
They say that
It's really not that similar to this.
Well, they say it's the other angle. I don't see
Candle.
it being anywhere near the same.
No, I don't think they're anywhere near the same. I mean, this is a guy. This is the guy in the hat, and there's a candle on a lot of his books. I don't see these to be very similar at all.
And the candle idea, by the way, is just to create a sense of distortionate lighting. That's one of the great things about L.B. Coley does is if you ever look carefully at some of the books, when you see a fire, and it's very common in the Golden Age, you see any fire anywhere, you see bright light coming from it. And he does a great job. And then darkness where it's on the other side. I mean, it's just a great way of being a good artist and showing some decent continuity is having a light source in there. And I think it's great. Where a lot of times people don't know what the lights are.
It'll be cold, so I am looking for a copy of this. It's not as rare as people think, though, so I'm patient. I'd like to find this in like a 4.0 to 4.5. I think that's realistic. And yeah, I mean, it's not a cheap book, but it's not. I mean, it's doable. This is not a hard book to find. There's tons of
put the camera on me real quick.
Okay, it's coming.
Yeah, you're gonna show why it's not rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you showing Rick's thing? By the way, this is from Gator, and I showed all your paste from Gator's like they're all mine. He was laughing.
Someone has all these.
Rick and I were talking for a while. When you were sending me those messages, I was talking to Rick, and I'm like from Gator, and I'm sitting there, and first of all, a woman recognized both DS and I, correct, DS?
What's that?
What about that woman? There was a woman, and we shout out to her. She was absolutely amazing, and they're fans of the show. And a lot of people aren't in the chat, or they're just don't subscribe to Facebook. We got recognized a few times. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, people took that picture with us with the Golden Guys. People asking where you were, Mike. I said we don't really travel together. We're not
West Coast. When they come to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And that's a Bernard Bailey too, who did my Weird Mysteries 5.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a post, a thread on the CGZ forums where people were talking about books that they had multiples of.
Well, that Catman, think about all those. That's ridiculous there.
Yeah, he told me what he had with that. He actually, when I showed that picture to him, he goes, that's mine, that's mine, that's not me, that's me, that's not me, that's me. The story behind that is he actually has the whole detective run, not just the Batman, right? He's got all of them. He had all of them. And he had multiple copies of 31, 32, 30, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And that one, that flag of that's him too. Actually, you can pretty much tell Gator because he kind of organizes his where he shows you how many he has. Yep.
That's crazy.
You're saying that's Gator who has all those Catman 28s.
Yep. And all those Brick Baffords he had.
Yeah, he said he doesn't have many left, but he's still got like 5,
Nice.
Well, I might hit him up
about 4 left. He had a
Is this Rick?
He had a 6.5%. That's him. That's Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, that's Gator fan right there. That's not this weekend, but yep, 2 action ones. There was a few action ones there. There was a 0.5 and I think a 1.5 or 1.8. And that guy had it in, not only was it slabbed, he had it in like this steel thing around it. I'm like, if it's okay. But I get it. I mean, it's a $500,000 book or whatever he said,
This is like
a bit hard to find.
This one.
Fine there.
Yeah.
Prime does not pay 24 maybe.
Comics for Thomas, how are you? Good having you here. Countdown Strange, what up, Comic Books NYC? Comics NYC, how are you? Unsuccessfully staying. Oh, shock and suspense for him. I don't know if that was him.
I don't see him having
that much pre-code horror. Rick usually has more. What you like, DS? He's had every Wonder Man. He sold the Wonder Woman run, and he lost some. And if you don't know that, yeah, that's nice. So Comic Books NYC, good having you here. He said unsuccessfully staying away from YouTube. Well, of course, Golden Guys is on. Everybody's watching it. Everybody's doing it. Countdown Strange, great seeing you. I got something I want to show Countdown Strange real quickly.
Yeah,
Countdown Strange. This was one of the commissions I had done, and I think you might get a hand out of it. Big Doctor Strange fan. This was a great one. Tell me that's not a Barry Windsor Smith style right there.
That's nice.
I wanted when you just tell him to have fun with it, and he knew what I was talking about.
How long did that take?
I tell everybody on Friday what I look for, and I told them you have till I'll be here till Sunday, and I don't really ask them about it until like first thing Sunday. I'll see how it's going, and usually then they're inking or pencil. You know, they usually start it. A lot of times these guys work in the hotels too, unless they go out at night and get drunk. It does happen here. TJ, great having you. Always in the chat here. I didn't. If you saw this one, everybody says, what logo did I get this time? That's my logo. Done again. This is Francisco Francavilla. That's my best Italian today. That's you're going to get. DS, everybody saying there, Compound Strange. Mr. Barrett, Compound Strange. Love that one, JD. Cool. Nice. So we're almost at the end here. Want to shout out everybody again and again. Everybody, please play for Paul. You don't. I mentioned it in the beginning. I'm going to say it again. Paul's little baby girl is having a rough time right now. They're at the hospital. She's going to go through some surgery. Just pray for him and his family if you can. If your prayers. If not, just keep him in your hearts. You know, very important. You know, he's our Estelle. You know, when you know he is our fourth. But you know we have guests too. We're wishing him and his family the best. When part of our family, the Comic Core family, or even any family really, part of any community that is going through a time like this, it kind of puts life in perspective. When I'm like, all right, I'm.
He was gonna take it easy and have a week off too. What the heck?
Yeah, I know. So, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much, right there. So there we go. Comic books NYC.
Now that the con's over, even though Knights didn't go to it, what's the next plan for you guys for like books you're looking for, or events or auctions that you're going to try to make your next golden age move in?
I have some books to sell. Some books, moderns and stuff I had slabbed. I have some bunch of books. I'll be doing a few auctions because I'm going to be saving up, and I've got a stack of it. I got 2 short boxes I got from someone, and I went through them, and I've got mid 80s, late around 80s Spider-Man run, and obviously been picked clean with the 316 in there, but I got the whole Craven run. I got everything else there, and I paid less than $50 for a full short box of Spider-Mans, and then another whole box of some DC fun stuff, a lot of signed books. And I got a lot of signed covers that I'll be selling as well for people here. No, I didn't get them slabbed because going through all that's a pain in the neck, but you saw them in our booth or you saw them there, and they signed a bunch of stuff for us while they were there. So I think it was nice. Some of these things we're giving away. So thank you guys very much for the great thoughts on there. My next big, I can't believe not one Space Detective 3 in that entire place.
Oh, really?
I had everybody look around for me, and they're like, why are you the Woolies one? Last year it was Voodoo 11. This year it's this. I said, I already got a Voodoo 11. Guess what I saw when I got there? A Voodoo 11 Raw. Yeah. You saw it on the far left?
I saw 2 copies of it there.
What do you think about it? The best grade one, I gave it a 3. He wanted $1,300 for.
It's too much for that book.
I get it. I already have mine. I paid $40 for maybe a 2.0, but I don't care.
It's definitely a good book, but it's not worth what people are asking for.
I know it's rare in everybody else because nobody knows who did it, and it's bizarre, but I like it the way it is. I might just slab that, and I don't really care if it gets a 0.5 or a 0.1. As long as it gets there. I mean, it's not in, I don't know how intact it is. I'm afraid to take it out. So I'll make CGC do it, and then they say, oh, we ripped your book. So
I got a well, I'm not really looking for anything. I've bid on a few things here and there, but the prices always just go too high. I picked this up at a local toy show.
Oh, is that
it's a third print, but it's still
a third print, right? Yeah, still a great book. I mean, let's be honest.
I don't really find beat up cheap ones.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few good books there, like that kind of stuff. There was a lot of good things there. Oh, and C2E2. It looks like so far I've heard people say they're all going to C2E2. Now, I've met a few of you guys at C2E2 before, Jake. And this year is that we have Planet Comic Con is way we're not doing week to week com where I went from Chicago to Kansas City and then sit there and suffer about all the bad decisions I made, you know. At least you get a month off between bad decisions at cons. But no, that didn't happen this time. It was always good. So
how about you, DS?
Well, probably I'm going to look at some of these end of the year auctions, November, December, like Comic Link, Heritage, Connect. And if I can put a good budget together, I'd really like to replace my Startling Terror Tales 11. I sold my low grade to Shortbox, to Gene at the con. But, you know, it's time to move on. I want a better copy of that. I had a 2.0. So my one goal is to pick up a replacement for that in a better grade. And the other thing I want is an Underworld Crime 7. That's the only book I didn't get on my want list for this year. So that's really high on my list. So those two books are pretty high on my list. And then Chamber 19, I sent my 6.0 restored out to get the resto removed. And we'll see what that comes back. Depending on how that comes back, it may or may not be a keeper for me. We'll see. I mean, I think it's going to come back decent. I hope the cover stays attached, but I talked to the guy. We'll see. But so those are the three big books. And then
did you do that at CGC?
Huh?
Did you do that? You said you talked to someone about it. What was that, CGC?
No, I don't send books to CGC for resto removal anymore. I sent it to another professional to get the resto removed, and I sent it out like probably 2 weeks ago, so it's going to be a little bit. But I'm just going to have him submit it to CGC, and we'll see what it comes back as. So, you know, that Chamber 19 is, we'll see, and Startling Terror 11 I want to replace because that's my favorite book. And then, yeah, we'll see. Underworld Crime 7 would be nice. And, you know, something like a Catman 28 or like a Flight 11, a big LB Cole book. You know, there's still some big pre-code horror books I want, and we'll just see what comes up at what prices. And but yeah, right now, like JD said, I got a ton of stuff I got to sell, so Thursday night's going to really help. I can move a lot of this stuff out of here. I mean, I'm going to regroup for November, December type auction stuff to see what's out there.
And there'll be, you know, usually around December, like 15th or so, or maybe even a little later, you can get some amazing deals on eBay.
Yeah,
if people have best offers, because they're just like, I really want to buy something big, and they're like, fine, I'll take $500 or whatever, you know, like for their stuff. I've gotten awesome deals every Christmas time.
Yeah, and actually, Black Friday around Thanksgiving is a great time to get deals on comic books. A lot of these dealers offer deals, and I buy stuff every Black Friday. I buy a nice big book, way undervalued, from somebody. Like last year I bought from Dave and Adams on their website. They had a Shock Suspense 6. It was like a 4.0, and I got it for pretty much dirt cheap for that book. Not dirt cheap, but way undervalued on a Black Friday sale they had. So Black Friday sales are real good with some of these major dealers.
Was it slabbed already?
Yeah, it was already slabbed. It was a 4.0.
By the way, if they sell you a raw, their grades are pretty good, but they slab everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I talked to them about this too because I try to slab everything I sell too for the most part. But I talked to them about it at the con, and you know, if you're selling books, especially older books, slabbing it makes it so much more liquid. It's so much easier to sell. It's so much easier to have a price agreement. Stuff moves quicker, and there's less returns. There's less complaints. There's less disagreement about it. Slabs, as a seller, slabs move. Everything's better about selling them as slabs. So they're like me. They slab everything they sell. I try to do that. You know, everybody has different grading. Everybody misses stuff, and it's just easier to have a slab to sell.
Do they still work with Mike Carbonaro?
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of guys were there. There was the guy there, the big guy. I only saw Saturday and Sunday. I've seen him at a lot of cons, but before he was even Dave and Adams. It's a way long time ago.
You know who Mike Carbonaro is?
I wouldn't know him if I saw him.
He looks usually like a pimp. I'll find a picture real quick.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with him.
What are things about? Hey, did you show your Gym 16? I didn't see because I was kind of dealing with my daughter at that point.
Oh, no, you want to see it?
Yeah, because I know somebody else in the chat here, one of my good friends out there, Mr. TJ, the Snapdragon Watson, and we both have this book on our list, I think, unless he already has one.
This is on eBay too. I'm selling this. This came back. This is a Harry Anderson cover. This came back high 6.0.
I think that's just even. It presents even better than that if you see it in person. The color.
It's got a little pen mark up here, but otherwise, it's a pretty solid looking copy, and it's off white to white, and yeah, it's a nice book. And I think the census has a 7.5 and a few 7.0s, and then 2 6.0s, and this is one of the 6.0s, so like 5th highest graded or something. And this book is quietly hot. I mean, this is a hot book, and there's a couple on eBay, and I put mine on there. Price to sell. I mean, mine's the cheapest one on there grade wise. If you're looking for this book in a nice.
Oh yeah, he wasn't there.
No, I didn't see him.
I used to see him a lot more at Midwest cons and California. And he's an out wester. What's that one in Arizona?
Oh, he's a New York City guy.
What's the one in Arizona? Phoenix Con?
I don't know.
There's one in
I
Arizona.
got 2 from him.
There was a dealer there from New York who had
Dave and whatever Adams.
he had a Great Comics 3. A raw one, which he told me was not restored, but somebody else said it was restored. But he said it was like a 6.0 unrestored.
Same here, TJ. That's a great book. I wanted you to see that, TJ. It's what both of us have seen that book. You know.
Yeah, I showed TJ this Gym 16.
You did?
We talked about it, I know, because I think the one online, that's another 6.0. I think there's 2 watchers on that book, and it's me and him.
Oh, nice.
But I'm watching it because I want to see what these go for and see if those sell. He's watching it because he wants to own one, and
I get it.
Yeah, so I've got it. If he hits a big scratch off ticket tomorrow, he knows where he can find a nice copy.
Nice. Didn't see one Web of Horror 3 while I was there. I hunted the con for a Web of Horror 3. Did not see one of those there. I did get a House of Secrets 195.
Hey, are you guys the Comic War? Is that going to be a thing? Like, are you guys going to keep having a table at like a bunch of cons across?
Yep. Next one is going to be for sure at C2E2. Expect a presence at Three Rivers Con, and probably we'll talk about it from there after that, but guaranteed C2E2. I promise you that. That'll be a big group for that. And then we've been discussing a big one as well.
New York City.
Well, actually, the big one a lot of us are talking about is Mega down in Orlando or Heroes.
Oh, Heroes.
That's the same location. And problem with Orlando is obviously it's Disney, but you do one day at the con and everybody goes on Harry Potter the ride after that. So that's the problem with there. So C2E2, Count on Strange, that's where we saw you last year. C2E2 is going to be really good for the core as well as books for sure.
That's in Chicago, right?
Yeah, and if you saw the booth this year, we're not going to do it's going to be much different going forward. This was we started by going, this is the first time we did this. And shout out to Chad at Comic Core, one Comic Core Chad. It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for him. And I think every show this week on Comic Core is going to thank Chad and give praise and pray for Paul. So it was a great time. Here's Bear Island. We saw him there. What up, fellas? I'm here to see which books I'll never get to ashore and hope DS Comics that his payment is coming. I'm sure they're there. So good to have him here. Bear Island, great time with him. Heart of Gold. No way around it. Way right there is great. Yeah. Nobody's worried for you. NYC, yep, he's excited there. Okay, well, it's 10:15 on my time, and I've got to get going. Yeah, I got to get going. And but thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend. Travel around the world and back again. We are back again next week, and we will have a guest.
Thursday night auction on my channel for Slack.
Right. Shout out to DS Comics doing Thursday. At what time are you starting?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. What's that? 5 Pacific. And Kyle Walker, you're probably sleeping. The print. So anybody out there? Comic Head 84 is now here. Gray saw him here. Let's keep it going. If you don't get, you guys got 10 more minutes?
Yeah, I don't care.
Comic Head 84. I missed something I had to give you and I forgot it. I heard you left for the con. You gave me a hug. I'm like, don't go. So do me a favor, reach me out a shout out. I found something that I think only you need. It was great. It was most importantly for you. But it was a great time at the con. Great seeing everybody there. For a Shock 6, you go up to a 7.5. Yeah. I mean, how many Shock 6s are on the census now?
There's got to be 300. I'll check, but I'll tell you for Shock 6, there's 2 9.9s and 9.8s. And then it just every grade you go down, there's numerous ones. That's a big book and it's a classic, but for investment value, if I were going to pick that up, this is why I sold the 4 I had, because it's just like, a 4 for that is no big deal. I would go for 7.5 at the absolute lowest, which for a PCH book, it's really cheap because there's so many of them. I mean, you can probably score an 8.0 for, I don't know, like in the 2s, you know what I mean? That's not bad for an 8.0 like that. It's not going to be like 5, 6, 7, 10 grand. It's, in the 2s, it's a big book, obviously, but compared to other stuff, I wouldn't even mess with it for less than a 7.5 or an 8 for like big book investment value type thing. I probably sound like a snob by saying that's only in the 2000s, but if you're buying big books and you want to add that one, it's not really a big copy unless it's a 7.5 or higher, I feel like.
Okay. I see that.
Well, yeah, I'm going to check how many's on the census while you.
Yeah. One of the other things I wanted to bring out while we, everybody will wear, if you don't, when we mentioned poll and everything else, there was some, another thing about conning in the future that we plan on doing is C2E2 has a good chance to be probably the biggest con that, as far as biggest experience I'm going to have at a con. Be on the lookout for news right there on that stuff. Slowly coming up because we want people to plan in much as we can, have plan in advance to save a dime here and there. There was a few questions I did get from some people that wanted to ask questions actually to DS that I forgot to bring up, and I'll have to bring up my messages here on what do you call that thing? Instagram. Gotta figure. I can't bring up Instagram messages on my computer. How do you do that?
You can't do it on a computer, only on the app.
Damn it. All right. God damn it, Billy. I was talking to Joel Adams the whole time. That was fun. He was with me. I didn't know this. Great story. Do you know those House of Secrets, right? Let me see if I can find one here. Old House of Secrets. If I can pull one out real quick, that'd be amazing, but usually I can't. House of Secrets. Anyway, you remember a lot of the House of Secrets that Neil Adams did. There were 3 children under the bed. Those 3 were his actual children. He drew them, and I actually asked them, all 3 of them, to sign a book for me, and they're giving it to the other brother who wasn't there, and they're gonna have it all signed for me and send it back to me. Who's nice. Yeah, I said I wanted them to sign it, and Neil's like, I'm not paying Neil. I didn't want Neil on it. I just wanted the kids because they're under it like this, And I have multiple copies. It's the one over the bed, and I don't really like the signing of the book, but it's cool. So, Forbidden World. Yeah, look at that book, Forbidden World. That is TJ. I'm gonna ask you a question. If you can respond in the chat, there is a delay. My guess is Ken Bald cover. I'm throwing it out there. It's not that hard of a guess, but that's my guess, Ken Bald. Tasha Get Fiber. Yes, Bear Island. That is the hashtag of the con. And, of course, Slowly I Turn. Step by step. Inch by inch. Don't know. That's that old night. Tasha Get Fiber. Yeah. Ooh, Turtles 1. What grade you looking for? Oh, that's what talk about what they're going after in C2E2. I need to do Friday and Saturday for C2E2. All right, there you go. Okay. Good luck on that one, NYC. He's going to be at C2E2. Who's that? Isn't Joe Hill the kid on Creepshow comic? Yeah. No, Creepshow comic was done by the covers by Jack Kamen. It could be, though. Covers by Jack Kamen. Interior is Bernie Wrightson. With a forward by Stephen King.
To the show? The TV or the movie?
No, the comic book, The Creepshow.
Yeah, isn't that what the movie was based off of? Or based that off of the movie or one or the other?
Yeah. Stephen King movie.
Yeah.
But the comic is there. Joe Hill. Oh, there we go. Isn't Joe Hill? That is pretty cool. I did not know that. That's pretty good. But if you don't know who Joel Adams is now, he does a lot of the what is that show? God damn it, Bobby! What's that show?
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. That's the name of it. Because that's what he kept saying. I was like, God damn it, Bobby.
Pretty
My
good.
tool shed.
That sounds like a
And my tool shed.
Yeah, it was fun. So Ken Bald cover. We were right. Did I say Ken Bald? I did, didn't I? Nice. I think.
All right, I gotta take off, guys.
Yep. No problem there.
Hey, let me show you. We'll see you later, Knights.
See ya.
We're gonna show one more here.
Yeah,
Oh,
this,
I get to see a bunch of books up at the top.
this is available on from a dealer. It's a post on Instagram, but there it is. This is all right. So the word cheap is a relative term, obviously, but this is how cheap this book is because there's so many. Here's a 9.6 of this, and the asking price is $13,000, and it hasn't sold. And this post is from October 13th.
I was gonna think because didn't a 9.8 sell for 15 not that long ago? Yeah, I had something on Gold Collect about it. I got a message.
It sold close to 20 last year, maybe.
There was one with white pages that I saw.
Well, the thing is, there's 299s, and then there's several Gaines file copies. So there's
This was a
if you're looking for a high grade of this, there's more. There's a lot of copy. The supply of high grades on this is about equal to the demand, or even a little more. So it's not like these books are flying off the shelves. And to have a 9.6 of a PCH classic like this from 1953, 52, 53, and a 9.6 for 13 grand is unheard of. If you had a Chamber of Chills 19 at a 9.6, it would probably be, I don't know, 40 or 50 grand easy, maybe even more. It might even get into the 75 range, who knows, but this is relatively cheap for this group of type of books. And if you go down into like 9.0, 8.5, 8.0, I mean, you're talking a few grand to pick up a freaking awesome copy of a classic. So, yeah, I mean, it's an awesome book. I had a 4.0, but, you know, it doesn't grow as a 4.0 as an investment. So if I was going to invest in this book, I'd want a VF range at least as an investment. But I'm not that good for it. I've had it, and it's like I already had one, so it's not on my list now.
Ditko Club Darren is one of the best guys to deal with. Actually, we were going to do a deal for, I'm missing a Strange Tales 115, and he had an 8.5, and he was asking 1,300, and we both know that wasn't going to happen. So we talked to each other, and obviously he went down to 1,100, and I said, well, what do you got in on it? And I'll do a swap with you. But if he has, let's say he had 900 in it, and I have 900 in a book myself, if he has only 900 in it and I'm willing to do that for there, and he's only going to get 900 for that, it's not good for him to do. I told him, no. So it didn't work because I didn't want to, he did want the other stuff, but it was nothing there else I really wanted from him. I know it's crazy. So wait, I know it's off topic, but thanks to DS and a win tonight. I have a quick one. Wait, TJ, are you saying you got a Moon Knight 8 and 9.6 or up? I looked all over, and you know that because I was going crazy for it.
Dude, I'll tell you, I picked up I think it was 4 copper books.
Right.
There was 3 copper books from a dealer that were super sharp for like dirt cheap. And so I'm like, what else can I get? And I came across a Moon Knight 8 that was perfect.
I've never seen
throw this in. So I got all 4 of them for a pretty good price.
Nice.
And 3 of them were like copper keys, and then that one was sort of like a throwaway for the dealer because who wants a Moon Knight 8, whatever. But because of TJ talking about it, I knew it was tough to find a high grade, and this one looked 9.8 to me. So I sent it in, and it came back 9.6. I still think it's a freaking amazing looking copy. I mean,
David, yeah.
He could have got a 9.8. It's one of those could have went either way, and so I knew he wanted it. So you know, he had obvious dibs on that, and I hooked him up with it. I think it's a beautiful book.
Nice. Yeah, it was. There's absolutely that was good. There was one thing I was going over. I was looking for something else. But we did see that Airboy. We said no heap. We were looking for a heap book. I was trying to find this first couple of Heat books there. I did not.
I didn't see too many Airboys at all. Too many Hilton
I
stuff.
kind of think everybody's holding on to them for a reason, and nobody wants to ever get rid of them. I did see the original artwork for Marine Forces from the 50s.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw the original gray tone cover. It was, I think, it was 100 and some odd thousand, but it was there, so that was cool.
Who was that? Kubert maybe or something?
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah, he had the original Buscema covers. I was going nuts. I said, if anybody knows this, I'm a size. There was a Thor 201. Great cover, original cover. He wanted 35 grand for it. He knew he could get. I mean, he wanted 50, but he was like 35. You know, I bought from him before. His prices, if you talk to him, he'll have everything though. You ask him, who do you have it? He's like, no, yes. He's not like Anthony, who says check this, check that. He's like, A's and B's are over here, C's, D's over here. E goes right down the line, and whoever you want. And he had the Mike Plug, some crazy stuff. He had the original artwork to number 4, which wasn't Mike Plug, but I wanted the original artwork to number 3, and I forgot I left it. I have a Ghost Rider 3 is one of my favorite. It's my favorite Mike Plug piece. I know I'm blaspheming, but that's my favorite. So
yeah, I think, did Mike Plug do Ghost Rider 1?
Yep, he did Ghost Rider 1, 2, 3, and Marvel Spotlights.
Because I got a Ghost Rider 1 back.
Yep, that's a Plug.
It says Gil Kane and Sinat cover.
Oh, really?
That's what it says on Ghost Rider 1. But yeah, this one came back white pages. I thought it was a 7.5, 8.0 white pages. So
I really just thought that was Mike Plug.
Sinat cover.
Hang on one second here. Mike Plug Ghost Rider covers.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about Ghost Rider or Plug stuff.
I always I've never seen a slabbed one in my life, so I mean, because I never looked for it, so that's why. It's not like a big deal. It's just I never looked for a Ghost Rider 1.
I cleaned and pressed this, and it came out nice. And I was shooting for a 7.5, and I got an 8.0 white. So yeah, real nice. I almost want to keep this, even though I don't no reason why I would want to, but it's freaking good looking book.
Cover. Maybe somebody in the chat can inform me. Anybody who's the biggest Ghost Rider fan we know? It's probably Alec from White Whale or TJ. I think he likes Ghost Rider too. I don't. I mean, I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong. I love Johnny Blaze, and Ghost Rider 3 is great, and all that stuff. I do like Ghost Rider, but I always thought Plug did that one. And I'm like, Plug. Where is that Ghost Rider? Mike Plug, Ghost Rider. There's a whole.
I was surprised, not surprised, but I knew this was going to be nice. This is another one. Not going to be in the auction Thursday night, but I'm going to show it anyway.
Show it.
This one came out real nice. I was shooting for 7.5 on this also. Lowest lane 70, got an 8.0 on that. And this is this was when I bought this. It was probably like in the 6.0, 6.5 range. It had some folds and stuff, and it was really dirty. But I cleaned it up, and the cover is like bright white now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a perfect copy. I mean, perfect for, it's not a 9.6, but it's such a white cover now. And the back cover, it's so clean. This is such a nice copy of this. But I've already got this. This is already spoken for. But I just wanted to show it. This is a tough book to find in like higher grades. I see a lot of 4.5s and stuff, but you never really see anything higher than that.
Yeah, Plug did the Spotlights and the Werewolf by Night and the Frankenstein, which are all those great covers. He also did the issue 8 in original Ghost Rider Volume 1. But Gil Kane did all the Ghost Rider when he got his own title. They gave it to Gil Kane to do, which I knew he did 3. I knew 4, and then somebody else did 4. I have a list of those. And he did Cole the Destroyer, which, by the way, there was a original artwork for that was there too. That's what we were talking about.
Werewolf by Night run as well, I think. It was Bub. I don't know if Bub's still in the
Werewolf by Night.
Whole run of every single Werewolf by Night appearance across all titles. He's got every appearance, and I think in the actual Werewolf by Night title, Plug did a lot of that artwork. I think.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, it's him. I mean, that's the thing about Werewolf by Night. Some of the early ones are really good, and I like my favorite cover of the bunch is with the 37, There's three. That's the Moon Knights on the bottom and Werewolf on top.
Yeah, I think I have a copy of that, but it's missing the Marvel Value stamp. And in auction, nobody wanted it. So, I mean, whatever. But
again, it's personal preference, right? I mean,
I wouldn't buy it missing a Marvel Value stamp either. So,
I think one of these is Plug. Plug did some of these Marvel Premiere. Yeah. Some of these are probably Plugs. I don't know which ones. I could probably, because it's just there it is. But before we get into that stuff and go away from there, I just wanted to shout out again over here. A lot of it was Frank Bruner. Early stuff was Barry Windsor Smith. And then it was Frank Bruner later on.
Yeah, I like Bruner stuff.
Yeah, I like
a Swamp Thing 1 and a Man Thing 1. Not only super high grade, I'd like an 8.0 of those, and I didn't see those at all.
First appearance of Man Thing?
Well, I actually want Man Thing 1. I'm not trying to collect, I'm not a huge Man Thing fan. I just like the Frank Bruner Man Thing.
I thought you'd want that Savage Tales.
I don't want that. I mean, I'm not collecting magazines.
I almost
tried
to trade for it. I was going to. I like it because whatever. It's
Fear 10, the first Man Thing.
No, no, isn't it the Savage Tales?
Well, yeah, but I mean for the.
Oh, it appears in a comic size book.
Yeah, I'm not messing with the magazines. I just go for the comic appearances. But I think one is Howard the Duck. I think Fear 10 is the first Man Thing, and Fear 19 is the first Howard the Duck. So yeah, I would like a Fear.
Adventures into Fear 19 is Man Thing is a couple before that because he's in Adventures into Fear.
Yeah, I think it's 10. But I just want a Man Thing 1, the first volume. Nice. Just like the cover, it's a nice, cool bronze number 1, and I wanted to go with the Swamp Thing 1, even though it's DC and Marvel, but I didn't see either of those there. And there was a 9.2 Swamp Thing 1, but they wanted 500.
That's definitely Blue.
Yeah, I
didn't see a lot of Man Thing appearance. I did see that. I was looking for a Golden Age book that everybody likes. Not everybody, but it's a crime book. It was an Al Feldstein, not the 22. It was an Al Feldstein book I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. Right, TJ, Savage Tales 1. I almost pulled the trigger on one of those there. I was talking to a guy, and I will in the future. I will. It's the one with the girl, it's the head coming off, holding up the head,
Yeah, I agree with Count. Count says he's collecting the Rights and Swamp Things in 8.0. Yeah, I got a House of Secrets 92 in an 8.0. I kind of want a Swamp Thing 1 in an 8.0. Which is fine, but I don't want to pay $3.
The fine irony.
No.
The fine irony.
And I don't, yeah.
I bought this from him. I bought this from DS along with a bunch of other Swamp Things, about a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
And it's an 8.0.
There you go.
And by the way, I am slabbing each one of mine, and I have a hole. This is just Swamp Thing, Bernie Wrights, and Swamp Things, I think. Now this is porno. No, I'm kidding.
I've had 4 copies of Swamp Thing 1.
I bought 2 of them off you so far.
You bought 2 of them. I had an 8.5 slab, which I sold last year, and then I had one that I bought in an auction off of Roman Curtis. That was like a 7.0, and I put it on eBay, and it sold for a good amount. So I've had 4 copies in the last year, and I've sold them all. But now, sometimes it's not the right time. You want a book, but it's not the right time for the book. But now it's the right. I really wanted House of Secrets 92. I don't want to get Swamp Thing 1. It's not on my list before that. But I got a House of Secrets 92 and an 8.0 now. So now I'm on the Swamp Thing 1. So now's the right time. And I've already sold 4 nice copies. So whatever. But I'll get one. It's not a hard book to find. I just was surprised I didn't see one at a con.
Here is Masters of Terror #1. If you want a really good Man Thing, this is one of my. I know it's a magazine. This is a great one.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm very OCD, and they don't fit in my boxes, and they don't. I don't know. I just stick with the magazines.
I'm looking for the one I had.
I get a Legion of Monsters magazine at CGC to go with my Marvel Premiere 28, which I already have.
Is that the one with everybody on it like that? The first one? It's
probably it's a one-shot magazine by Marvel, and it's the first.
Right. February '76.
I think it's 76.
Yeah.
And I submitted it on BBC, and I got a Marvel Premiere 28, which is the first comic book appearance, and I have that in an 8.5, and I just have that sitting waiting on the magazine to come back, so I have a nice set. But I'm not keeping those, but it'll be a nice little set, an 8.5, and I think the magazine is that or higher, really. It should be like a 9.0, 9.2, really, I think.
Oh, nice. My highest grade of a Wrightson, probably, I don't know where, there it is a gold slab Bernie Wrightson signed 9.6.
Nice.
Highest on the census. Single. Was single, I guess it is. I don't know. Not the best spot for the signature, but it's not the signature. You know, it's Abigail Arcane, first appearance of, well, not really. First appearance of Abigail Arcane, first full appearance of Patchwork Man. I absolutely, this was probably the first Swamp Thing. It is the first Swamp Thing. No, it's not. I've had more of them. I have them all.
That's a good run for somebody to go after if you want a nice short run. The Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing run. It's just the first 10 issues.
Yep.
So
and then you get House of Secrets in 1992. And by the way, Louise Simonson did sign a few of those House Secrets in 1992. She was there. And I asked her, has anybody ever cosplayed as the Swamp Thing and come up behind you just to take pictures? She said,
oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
No, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
But I would like, you know, maybe Bear Island, we put him in a ghillie suit. That would be good. Bear's
that would work.
Bear's a big guy. Maybe Bear.
Pull that off. What you do is when he's creeping up behind her, hand her a hairbrush and be like, here, can you hold this? I want something. And she'll be holding it like, what do you want me to do with this? And it'll be perfect for the cover, you know what I mean? Because she'll be like, why am I holding a hairbrush? And he'll be behind her, you know, over here, and it'll be perfect.
That'd be nice. My Wrightson fascination went a lot this weekend. Yeah, I was looked at some things that maybe one day, but there's a lot of really cool Wrightson. There was some Wrightson sketches and stuff people had. I have what I want from him. My favorite thing is that, and I'm not blaspheming when I say this. I think his greatest work, hands down, is the Frankenstein. And check. I mean the Muck Monster from I think it's Creepy 68, or it might be Eerie 68. I'm sorry, Eerie 68 is second to that, because that's like the dawn. Muck Monster's the dawn of like a Frankenstein.
Yeah,
and you've got the whole Swamp Thing is another character. The idea of the Alec Holland story came from Len Wein and everybody like that. And
well, I think, you know, what I would like to get is, you know, sometimes you'll see on Heritage they have Wrightson sketches that are not OA, but they're little pencil sketches signed by him.
He drew everything.
Regret not going after on Heritage, and only sold for like $300. And it was he's sketching an alien skull from different perspectives. Really awesome piece, and it was $300. You're not going to find Wrightson OA for that, but
no. But I do have the full story behind this comic, and I'm going to have Buzz, TJ. If you're out there still, I'm going to have Buzz. If you know who Buzz is, he was Bernie. He used to call Bernie Wrightson dad, and Bernie used to call him his son, as a protege and everything else. And the story behind this is an amazing story, because it was I'm going to let him tell it too. I'm going to have him on there. I'm going to have him, the guy Buzz, who drew for me Buzz, who drew this for me, who does the Dynamite and everything else. But it's not his real name. He's got a stage name, you know. It's like you're talking like, well, I met Sting, but you really use Gordon Lightfoot, or whatever his name is. Don't have any original art. Definitely on the Grail list. There's plenty of original Wrightson art out there. Every auction. I mean, I know he didn't live for. You know, he's dead. But he did a lot. So
I see a lot of his stuff come up on Heritage every Sunday. Like every Sunday, there's a Wrightson something.
There's always a Heritage. There's always a comic. A Comic Link has a lot of it on their They do an art focused auction in the summer in June, I think it is.
Yeah.
and they went art one in June, and that's where they had full pages of House of Secrets 92.
Yeah, but I mean that's where they have the rights and stuff like that. That's where they have Frazetta paintings.
Yep.
You know what I mean, that go for millions of dollars. So it's cool stuff to watch. But hey, I'm gonna get off here, man. I gotta head out.
This is the Frankenstein, and that's just the cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get that in a reprint just to check it out. It's not original if it's cheap.
With the original dust jacket, even has the old Dewey Decimal System number.
Nice.
But big surprise was when I found out what was inside. That's his signature.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This, I told you, I found this. If you don't know the story behind this, was on the way back from C2E2 after hanging out with JP's Budget Collecting and D. Runk and Burke Nasty. I drove back, and I live in Omaha, and there was a lot of flooding, so I couldn't go that way, the way to 29 on the highway, so we had to pull off. We pulled off this side of the road, and we wanted to stop by and get a what do you call it? What do we have to get? Like something for the kids, and she wanted to eat something. We were pretty hungover too, so we got something to eat and got there, and that was it.
Yeah, what year is that?
1983, the original.
Yeah, see, they're on eBay for $150, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna buy a reprint of it for like
dust jacket
$100 or something.
Old dust jacket.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking down. The 1983 ones are like 150.
It's right here. Roy Krenkel, Library of Congress number on there. First edition, right here. It says on the side.
Yeah, I mean, here's one for $100. Yeah, maybe I'll buy the first edition.
I was there because you could get the other ones. The other ones are probably going to last, but this is in immaculate mint shape. Actually, the old book dealer here who's got books from, the 1700s, 1600s. He's got stuff that was on captain's logs and stuff from ships coming over in the 1600s and everything. I brought it over to him. I said, this is what I was asking for. He goes, oh, no, but that's a great condition for a book from that year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm going to put that on my eBay Bucks list. That's going to be a good eBay Bucks purchase.
Yeah, it's very good. Recommend everybody get it. But, yep, that's our show. I do have to head out. There was something else I was trying to show somebody another Wrightson thing I found. But, here's the Erie 68, by the way. And we want to see the similarities. So this is the cover. And by the way, it's a wraparound because you see the whole lab, right? This was before this by about 15 years before it. This was 68. So actually, this would be 75. So it's not that far long ago. But there's a book here, and it's actually fully colored. It's the only thing in all these magazines that was fully colored, and this is the Muck Monster, right? But you could see the Wrightson doing the Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and his desire to do Frankenstein, and he finally decided to do it in 1977, and it took him 6 years to complete. And the whole story, he actually talks about it on camera. I think it might be on YouTube because he did it. He explained the story on an interview. It was literally, he's talking about this as his favorite thing he's ever done, and I think it was his best work. It was the one thing I always wanted. It took 7 years to do this book, so
yeah,
it probably would have taken my favorite line of the entire con I heard. No offense to anybody else other than hashtag Tosh should get fiber was, according to Howard Chaykin, he goes, I live with Bernie lived downstairs from him, and he was up there. He goes, Bernie Wrightson was decades and eons ahead and talent and decades ahead of anybody else in that area or anybody else in comics history. He goes, born in another time, born in another era. If he was born up against Da Vinci, you'd never hear of Da Vinci. You'd hear of Wrightson. So I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, I like Wrightson. That's the only.
The whole way was explaining how Bernie was so close with him. So
yeah, his is the only non-Golden Age stuff that I'm currently collecting. I'm trying to put together all the Wrightson, the big Wrightson stuff, and I've got most of them except for Swamp Thing 1 is what's sort of holding me back. I just pay $250 for an 8.
Yeah, so you've had 4. I bought 2 off of you. So, but I AOK'd one away. I should have AOK'd it back to you. hysterical.
Although we have that looking at because there's an 8% eBay bucks thing going on, and that would be like $20 off. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
they're
get it wrong here, man.
I'll be honest with you.
Anyway,
I like these things. They're not as easy to find as it sounds, but they are available. They're on eBay and stuff like that. But I did not really buy I would never buy on eBay. I mean, I not that I wouldn't, but to me it was, I can't believe they have this. And then when I get home, I open it up, and it was half price, so it was 40 originally. She charged me 20, and I got home. I said, "This is very cheap for this book, ma'am." She goes, "It was donated." So turn around, I get home, and I'm all excited about it. And by the way, I didn't know it was signed right away because I started looking at all the art. And I didn't read it or start anything, but I went to the first thing to see first edition. And I looked at the first page. I remember looking at it. I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool. They got a facsimile signature in there." And then I turned it over, and it bled through. And I'm like, "Wait a second."
Yeah, that's real cool.
And then it says limited edition numbered 83 of 100. So there you go. All right, everybody. This has been Golden Guys and Bernie Talk. Well, we were Golden Guys the first hour. Now we're just open mic night. So, but I gotta head to bed. Yeah. So great having everybody on. Stephen Oates, thanks for being here. Comic Books, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being a friend. I will see you all tomorrow on Unlimited, and don't forget Thursday night, DS Comics, 8:00 Eastern, 5:00 Pacific. The auction of auctions to get your slabbed and some raw, but some slabbed, some keys and everything you've all been looking for. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
All right, catch you next week.